What makes a global superstar completely abandon an entire music era they once poured their heart into? For Demi Lovato, the answer might surprise you. In a rare moment of blunt honesty, she's now admitting that her much-hyped 2022 rock era, but one that had fans expecting a total reinvention, just didn't work. But here's the twist: instead of retreating or slowing down, Demi is charging full speed into a new sound she says is more fun, more authentic, and unlike anything she's done before. And the real reason behind that shift: it reveals more about where she is in life and in the music industry than most people realize. The rockier gamble. Back in 2022, Demi Lovato made what some saw as a risky move. She ditched her pop persona for a gritty, unapologetic rock sound. Her album Holy Feck was loud, aggressive, and dripping with nostalgia for the music she grew up on in her emo days. To Demi, it wasn't a business play, it was a passion project. She wanted to reconnect with the raw, rebellious energy that first inspired her to make music. But no, looking back, she says it plainly: the rock stuff didn't work for me. No sugarcoating, no excuses. And while she insists there's no regret because it was true to her at the time, the fact she's walking away from it completely has fans wondering, was it the sound, the timing, or something deeper that just didn't click? The pop formula that works. When Demi looked back over her career, one thing stood out: her biggest wins came when she leaned fully into pop. Tracks like Cool for the Summer didn't just chart well, they became cultural moments, the kind of songs fans blast on repeat years later. So she asked herself the obvious question: why not just go back to that? This wasn't about playing it safe, it was about playing to her strengths. She wanted music that felt as electric as those pop anthems, but also matched where she is now: upbeat, confident, and unapologetically herself. And that decision set the tone for her entire upcoming album, a project built not on heavy confessions, but on pure, unfiltered energy. Breaking away from heady personal themes. For years, Demi's albums felt like pages ripped from a diary, raw, unfiltered, and often heavy with pain. Every lyric came from a place of deep emotion, and the studio was as much a therapy room as it was a creative space. But that weight can be exhausting, and Demi admits she's simply not living in that headspace anymore. This time, she's not chasing catharsis, she's chasing joy. Gone are the days of dissecting trauma in every verse. Instead, she's embracing fictional storytelling, playful themes, and a freedom to write without having to bare her soul each time. It's a major shift, and one that might leave some fans wondering if they'll miss the intensity, or if they're about to see a side of Demi they've never fully experienced before. The moment she found the new sound. Every artist has that moment in the studio when something just clicks, and for Demi, it happened with a song called Frequency. It was the very first track she worked on for the new project, and as soon as the chorus hit, she knew she'd stumbled onto the blueprint for the album's entire vibe. Working alongside producer Joan, Demi chased that spark relentlessly, layering in sleek pop hooks, playful beats, and just enough edge to keep it fresh. It wasn't overthought, it wasn't overworked, it was instinct, and that instinct pulled her toward a sound that felt lighter, freer, and more alive than anything she'd made in years. Fictional songwriting and creative freedom. In the past, Demi's songwriting rule was simple: if she sang it, it had to be true. Dates, details, even the smallest references were pulled directly from her own life. But for this album, she decided to break her own rules. When the love song started sounding too familiar, and the personal stories felt overused, she asked herself, what if I just make it up? That shift unlocked something new. Suddenly, she could write from any perspective, explore imagined scenarios, and push beyond the limits of her own experiences. Even the emotional tracks have a different flavor now, they carry feeling, but without the weight of reality pressing down. It's Demi unshackled, treating the studio like a playground instead of a confessional booth. And that freedom didn't just change her process, it changed the entire energy of the record. Love, happiness, and lightheartedness. If there's one thing driving this new era, it's Demi's personal happiness. She's in love, she's confident, and she's making music from a place of genuine joy, a far cry from the heavy, soul-bearing tracks that defined much of her past. That shift spills into every note, with songs that are playful, flirty, and even a little daring. She admits there's a streak of sexually charged energy running through the record, but it's not about shock value, it's about embracing exactly where she is in life. The themes are lighter, the beats brighter, and the overall feeling is freedom. For Demi, this isn't just a new album, it's a snapshot of a chapter where she's finally letting herself have fun, without overthinking every lyric. Looking ahead, the album's promise. The first taste of Demi's new era came with Fast, a sleek, high-energy track that instantly set the tone for what's coming. Fans are already dissecting every lyric, looking for clues about the full album which, according to whispers online, could drop before the year's out. If the rest of the record matches the confidence and brightness of its lead single, this could mark one of the biggest sonic turnarounds of her career. But that shift raises a question: will fans embrace this lighthearted, fiction-laced version of Demi, or will they still crave the raw, soul-bearing storyteller they've known for years? Either way, one thing's certain: Demi Lovato is stepping into this chapter with zero hesitation. And whether you've been here since the early pop hits or discovered her during the rock experiment, this upcoming release might just change the way you see her as an artist.